ज्ञानतिमृन्दस्य ॐ अज्ञानतिमृन्दस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरुं श्रीयुत्पत्कमलं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवांशं श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहितं रघुनाथं वेतं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्री राधा कृष्ण पादान सहितं ललिता श्री विशाखान्त हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपीश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्तते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमति भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी इति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा माता धन्यवाद करना।
Hare Krishna. And who's expressing their gratitude today?
Archana.
हरे कृष्णा माता जी।
Hare Krishna.
अच्छा, सुप्रिया माता जी और वनीता माता जी की परमिशन लेके मैं स्टार्ट कर सकती हूँ ग्रेटिट्यूड। हरे कृष्णा। एक्चुअली कल रात को मुझे मैसेज आया था अंजलि माता जी का कि आपको ग्रेटिट्यूड करना है, तो मेरे दिमाग में कुछ आइडियाज थे कि मैं क्या बोलूं, लेकिन वो सब मुझे जो इंग्लिश में ट्रांसलेट करके दिए मेरे डॉटर ने, तो वही मैं आज पढ़ने जा रही हूँ। Before I begin, I would like to offer a brief prayer of thanksgiving that I have relied upon heavily. O Krishna, give good sense to all, health to all, do good to everyone, and make everyone's life at peace and happiness. Let each one chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra every day. Now I shall express my gratitude towards God Krishna. O Krishna, without any demand, without any recommendation from anyone, or without any extraordinary work or achievement towards you, still you take care of everyone from head to toe. You manage to hold our breath in in your hands. Universe follows your commands. No one strives because of you. O Krishna, what running device have you fitted? A system that carries message seamlessly from toenails to hair on the head. By what invisible force it is running? It is a very difficult to understand. 2000 megapixel cameras which you have created in form of our eyes are recording each and every scene created by you, Krishna. Though a body filled with 75% of water, there are no even single leak with thousands of holes. Because of you, I can stand without any support. Car tires wear, but the sole of our feet will never wear out. This is a great form of architecture or design which you have created. Oh Krishna, you are running our body, which is really wonderful and appreciable. Thank you for caring for all of us. You give memory, strength, and peace. Thank you, Krishna, for the blessings you bestowed on my life. You have provided me with more than I could ever have imagined. Thank you very much. You have surrounded me with people who always look out for me. You have given me Shiksha Guru, Srila Prabhupada, my family, and my friends who bless me every day with kind words and actions. Also, thank you, Krishna, for keeping safe. You protect me from those things that seems to haunt others. You help me make better choices and provide me with advisors to help me with life's difficult decision. You speak to me in so many ways so that I always know you are here. And my Krishna, I'm so grateful for keeping me, those around me, safe and loved. I hope that you give me the ability to give to them the same kindness they have provided to me. I am extremely grateful for all of your blessings in my life, Krishna. I pray that you remind me of just how blessed I am and that you never allow me to forget to show my gratitude in prayers and written acts of kindness. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Very, very nice, Archana Mataji. You took such efforts. I mean, next time, please feel free to say it in Hindi. There's no compulsion of saying it in English, but so beautifully done even by your daughter. Very nice. So, a question, are you a science graduate? Are you a science graduate?
No, I'm commerce graduate.
Commerce graduate. You went so much into science and biology. I thought maybe biology is your...
No, I'm the science graduate.
Nice, very nice. So you have noticed all these wonders of the body, isn't it?
Yeah.
Which scientists cannot replicate. They can try, they can say anything they want, but they cannot replicate it. And not only our body, each and every seed of a tree is different. Each and every variety of an animal is different. So it all comes back to the wonders of Krishna's creation. So imagine if the material world is just 1/4 of the entire creation. The spiritual world is 3/4. Imagine how beautiful that would be. Because material world is temporary, right? And it has no bliss. But imagine the spiritual world. Wow, that would be so wonderful. Nice, very nice. These little bits of gratitude is what brings us more and more closer to his amazing, amazing power. And his magnanimity. And he's never told us, see, I'm doing you so much favor, at least for that surrender to me. No, he never says that. Very nice. So we'll start with the next section. Yes, shall we do that? Are we ready? Okay, so let's start.
Yes,
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Maybe you all can repeat. One of you can unmute or all of you can unmute.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Narayanam Namaskritya
Narayanam Namaskritya
Naram Chaiva Narottamam
Naram Chaiva Narottamam
Devim Saraswatim Vyasa
Devim Saraswatim Vyasa
Tato Jayam Mudirayet
Tato Jayam Mudirayet
Nashta Prayesha Bhadreshu
Nashta Prayesha Badhyeshu
Tyam Bhagavata Sevaya
Nityam Bhagavata Sevayam
Bhagavati Uttama Shloke
Bhagavati Uttama Shloke
Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki.
Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki.
Okay, so we did till verse 12 last week. Anyone remembers anything? A quick kind of a recap if we can.
So this was the time when the sages are actually asking questions. So between 1.1.9 and 1.1.12, 3 questions were asked. And the questions were, what is the absolute and ultimate good for people in general?
Correct.
Please explain the essence of the scriptures and explain for the good of all living beings. They know that Bhagavatam is actually the, the essence, but they still, want the, I think, the extrapolation or people to understand, the importance of Bhagavatam. They don't, kind of place Bhagavatam in the front, but want the answer from Sutta Goswami. And the third question, which is in 1.1.12, is why did the Lord appear in the womb of Devaki as son of Vasudeva?
Excellent, excellent. Anyone remembers the qualities of people in Kali Yuga?
Yeah,
Yes.
it's a Alpa Ayush, Mandil, Sumant Matya, and Mandaha, Upadrata, and Kala.
Very nice. Do you want to explain it in English? What
Yeah,
is meanings?
yeah. Just like I can explain the Alpa Ayush, like just in like we are all living in this Kali Yuga. So being in this material world, so life is very short here.
Correct.
And so it means that, and in this it's the age of Kali Yuga, we all are fighting. We are having a quarrelsome life.
Correct.
Either we are quarrel with somebody or the other. It's always going on this.
So
Plus,
two reasons. Maybe someone else can say one more.
So we are mand bhagya. Mand bhagya does not mean that we are lazy, but we are spiritually lazy. So that is why we're not getting all the blessings. So that is the
Manda. So lazy is manda.
manda.
Manda. Manda bhagya is unlucky.
Unlucky.
Yeah, Sumanda Matayo
Yeah.
is misguided.
Yes. Very good. And one more left. Anyone else?
There's so much
Upadrata.
propaganda around us that disturbs
Mandabhagya.
us.
Always
Yes.
disturbed.
Yes. Upadrita. Always disturbed because of propaganda. Very nice. So we understand our position in Kali Yuga, and we understand why the sages were so eager for this, so that they could help us out, because they're so, they're so soft-hearted, they're so beneficent. Okay, so let me share my screen. So today we'll go to 1.1.13. So one of you can repeat, or whoever wants to repeat. Tanna shushrushamananam
Tanna Shushrushamananam
arhasyanganuvarnitum
Aharsyanganuvarnitum
yasyavataru bhutanam
Yasya Vataro Bhutanam
kshemaya cha bhavaya cha.
Kshemaya cha Bhavaya cha.
Can you read the translation? Anyone?
O Sutta Goswami, we are eager to learn about the personality of Godhead and his incarnations. Please explain to us those teachings imparted by previous masters, acharyas, for one is uplifted both by speaking them and by hearing them.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. So this verse, one sec. Okay, so this verse, they're talking about the eagerness. Yeah. So the conditions for hearing the message of the truth. So in the purport, let me just share the purport with you. Sorry, I don't know what's wrong with my laptop. So I've just highlighted a few bits of the purport, so I'm going to just share it with you. Can you all see this?
Yes, Mataji.
So Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport, the conditions for hearing the transcendental message of the absolute truth are set forth herein. First, The first condition is that the audience must be very sincere and eager to hear. So, and the second one is that the speaker must be in the line of disciplic succession from the recognized acharya. Right, so these are the two conditions. One is your sincerity and eagerness, and the other is that the speaker should be from the authorized parampara. He should be an acharya. So we all know what are the 4 sampradayas. Let's just quickly do a recap because this is important. How many ever times we do it, it's important. Can we just one by one, can we just go through what are the 4 sampradayas, authorized sampradayas?
Sri Sampradayam is one of them.
Yes, and can you tell me the acharya?
Ramanujacharya.
Ramanujacharya. Very good, excellent. Someone else, one more?
Rudra Sampradaya.
Rudra Sampradaya, very good. And who is the acharya?
I'm forgetting the name.
Vishnu Swami.
Vishnu.
Then the third?
Sri Sampradaya.
She already said Sri Sampradaya, Ramanujacharya.
Brahma Sampradaya.
Yes, Brahma Sampradaya. And who's the acharya?
Madhvacharya.
Madhvacharya. Yes, that's why it's called Brahma Madhava Sampradaya. Yeah. So that's third. And the last one?
Kumara Sampradaya.
Excellent. And who's the acharya?
I'm not sure. I know Nimbarka.
Nimbarka Swami. Yes. Nimbarka. So these are the 4 sampradayas. So it is important to listen from these 4 sampradayas. But if you are connected with one sampradaya, then it's better to listen to only from that sampradaya instead of shifting. If you're connected, then it's better you listen, because each sampradaya has their own prominent literature. Like Sri Sampradaya has Ramayana and we have Bhagavatam. So therefore the destination and the goal, Sambandha Abhideya Prayojana, will be different. So if you're connected with a particular sampradaya, it's better to stick to that sampradaya. And what is the highlight of our sampradaya? Why is our sampradaya so special?
It is coming directly from Krishna to Brahma to
All
Narad.
4 come from Krishna. All 4 come from Krishna. The source is Krishna for all 4.
Okay.
You must understand. Krishna gave it to Brahma. Krishna gave it to Lakshmi Devi. Krishna to Shiva. Krishna to the 4 Kumaras. Then they have their sampradayas. But what is so special about our sampradaya, Brahma Sampradaya? What is the speciality? It's only in our sampradaya that Krishna came himself as Lord Chaitanya. He did not go to any other. Why? Because it's only in this sampradaya that you will get Krishna Prema. So that is the speciality. So you must understand the importance of your own sampradaya, right? Even though all are authorized, again, Sambandha, Abhideya and Prayojana, the goal. What is our goal? Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave us the goal, which is Krishna Prema. Yeah, so that is important. So, 2 qualifications were, one was that your eagerness and your sincerity, and the second one is that you should be in a authorized disciplic succession, right? And the transcendental message of the Absolute is not understandable by those who are materially absorbed. Srila Prabhupada says in the purport that it is not understandable by those who are materially absorbed. Can you tell me why?
Mataji, Kumud is your friend?
Komal Mataji, yes, I think.
Kumud.
Who?
Kumud.
Kumud, no, Mataji.
Kumud Mataji has joined.
No, on Komal was, I don't know. You can ask her. Hare Krishna, Kumud.
Sorry, Hare Krishna.
We're wondering who you are. If you can just switch on your camera.
The only thing is actually my husband
Oh, Vinci. No.
was working on the system, so his name was there.
No worries. So we have solved the mystery now. So we move ahead. Okay, so
Sorry, the flow is a bit at a halt. I just want to know which verse we are on.
13.
Thank you.
Okay, so
Sorry, Mataji, you had asked a question before.
yeah, where was I? Yeah, question. Yes. So let me just share that purport again.
Well, you asked the question that why the transcendental message of absolute is not understandable by those who are materially absorbed.
Yes. Why isn't it? Why do people who are materially absorbed not able to understand the message of Krishna? Simple. What is the answer? Anyone? What do you think? We are all materially absorbed, right? I'm materially absorbed. I'm not spiritually absorbed at all. We are still working at it, right? We are all materially absorbed. So therefore, why is it not understandable for us? We do understand it. Why? Only when?
Because we can't
Uh,
think beyond
can I?
body. We are so conditioned that we understand only those things related to the body, and to understand anything about the spirit soul is beyond our intelligence, or like we just saw that we are spiritually lazy and even mandamataha. We
Yes.
are so fond of knowledge. तो वहां तक हमारा दृष्टिकोण ही नहीं जाता.
Yeah.
बॉडी में ही फंस के रह जाते हैं, इसी से रिलेटेड ढूंढते हैं आंसर.
Yes. Absolutely. Yes, Anu.
Hare Krishna, Supriya Mataji. Hare Krishna, Vishaka Mataji. I just want to answer. I mean, whatever understanding I have, according to that, what I view it as, visualize it as is. When a person like us who are so materially absorbed, why we are not able to understand the real, real paraphernalia or whatever, the reality of Krishna is because we are having that illusion in our eyes that this is the entire creation is some or the other, like this is the house, this is my house, this is my car. So we see everything as mine or yours, but we don't know that each and everything in the entire world belongs to Krishna only, even if it is in material or whatever form. So that understanding is very difficult to come if we have that veil in our eyes of understanding world as with this spectacles of Maya. So that's why I think it's like that. It's difficult to understand.
Right. So that's right. We have so much false ego. So one thing you must understand, that material world is not an illusion. It is a reality, right? It is a reality. The illusion is that we are the controllers. So that's why it is not understandable, because we are so conditioned. We are conditioned materially, therefore we are not able to understand it. But we become gradually purified. What does Srila Prabhupada say in the next sentence? Under the direction of a bona fide spiritual master, one becomes gradually purified. So even though it is not understandable, it is not impossible. It is definitely possible because of the chain of disciplic succession, and there is still purity in the message. There is no mix-up in the message. What is as it is. That's why Srila Prabhupada emphasized on as it is. And when we surrender and take shelter of a guru, then gradually we are purified and ready to go back home, back to Godhead. So therefore, in this case, so even in the case of the sages of Naimisharanya, Srila Prabhupada has given that it is the same. These conditions were fulfilled. Suta Goswami comes as an authorized acharya for Srimad Bhagavatam. Why authorized? So if we go back to the history, Vyasadeva is the literary incarnation of Krishna. He wrote the Srimad Bhagavatam in his maturity under the guidance of Narad Muni. Then we know the history of Shukadev Goswami. So Shukadev Goswami was listening. I hope you all know the story. If you don't, even if you know, you can listen to it again. If you don't know, then maybe I can tell it in detail some other time. Just give a gist of it. Shuka, the parrot. Who is Shuka? Shuka is Radharani's parrot. Shuka was listening to Srimad Bhagavatam when Lord Shiva was narrating it to Parvati. And he was sitting on the tree and listening. And as Lord Shiva was narrating, Parvati was listening and she was saying, and he would continue. And then Parvati fell asleep. But Shuka was so engrossed that he did not want Lord Shiva to stop, because if Parvati would not respond with that sound, then Lord Shiva would understand that she was asleep and he would stop. So he started saying, Shuka started saying, and Lord Shiva continued. And when he narrated the entire Bhagavatam, he realized that Parvati had fallen asleep. And he knew that someone else was saying, When he looked around, he saw Shuka, and Shuka flew away in fear. And Lord Shiva followed him with his Trishul. And Shuka flew all the way to Vyasadev's ashram. And there Vyasadeva was with his wife, and his wife opened her mouth to say something. Shuka flew into her mouth and went into her womb. And when Lord Shiva arrived there, Vyasadeva said, no, there's no need of killing him. He is also. So why did Lord Shiva want to kill Shuka was because Bhagavatam is not supposed to be narrated to people who are not qualified. So Vyasadeva said Bhagavatam itself is so potent and purifying that anyone even hearing one word of Bhagavatam is purified. So therefore there is no fault in Shuka hearing it. Now Shuka in the stomach was now the son, and he did not want to come out. So he stayed there for 16 years. We will be reading this story in Bhagavatam. So Shukadev Goswami, even before his birth, was hearing the Bhagavatam in the womb. So Parampara is there. Vyasadeva is now told Shukadev Goswami. And when Shukadev Goswami narrated the Bhagavatam to Parikshit Maharaj, in that assembly, Suta Goswami was present and he heard it. So again, that is Parampara. And now Suta Goswami has been approached to narrate the Bhagavatam. So therefore, Srila Prabhupada says that they are both very well qualified, Acharya and the listeners who are very sincere and eager. So, and also in the purport, he says, thus the transcendental topics of Lord Sri Krishna's superhuman activities, his incarnation, his birth, appearance or disappearance, his forms, his names, and so on, are all easily understandable. Let me just share this. All these are very easily understandable by us, because all easily understandable because the requirements are fulfilled. If you are sincere and eager, and if you're hearing in Parampara, the requirements are fulfilled, then it is understandable. So what is the word over here? Shushrushamanam, meaning quality. The quality of the narration is so high that it is understandable by the listeners and the speakers. Yeah. We'll go to the next verse, which is 1.14.
Supriya Mataji, what was that? Sushrusa Manava.
It's there in the verse.
Okay.
You'll find it in the verse. So 1.14. Someone can repeat. Apanna samsritim ghoram.
Apanna samsmritim ghoram.
Yannama vivasho ghrinan.
Yannama vivasho ghrinan.
Tata sadyo vimuchyeta.
Tata sadyo vimuchyeta.
Yad bhibeti swayam bhayam.
Yad bibheti swayam bhayam.
Okay. Can someone read the translation?
Living beings who are entangled in the complicated meshes of birth and death can be freed immediately by even unconsciously chanting the holy name of Krishna, which is feared by fear personified.
Yes, which is feared by fear personified. Before we read so what is fear personified? What is the reference here for fear personified? We're talking about death. Death is called fear personified. Yeah. So, so in this verse, after asking the three questions, the sages are in the last verse, 13, we saw that the sages were expressing their eagerness to hear. Yeah, in the last verse, they were saying we are so eager to hear. They were sincere and they were eager. Here in this verse, they are glorifying the holy name. And in the next verse, they will be glorifying the devotees. So in this verse, they're saying, they're talking about Vivasho Grinam. So Vivasho Grinam means, do you want me to share the verse or it's okay? You all have it? Just tell me.
We have it.
We have it.
Yeah,
Okay.
we have it.
All right. So Vivasho Grinan means, indicates a person like Ajamil. You know, if you see the word to word, what is Vivasho Grinan? Unconscious chanting, right? So Ajamil is an example of this Vivasho Grinan. He unconsciously chanted the holy name, right? But what happened? Even fear personified, Yamraj, did not go near him. One who takes shelter of the holy names need not fear even of Yamraj. The Yamadutas were asked to return by the Vishnudutas. So this indicates, what is this? This is the glory of the holy name. So even unconsciously chanting it. So why to even ask of all of you who are consciously chanting it and following the instructions of Srila Prabhupada? Vibheti, you don't need to fear. Vibhatsa is fear. You don't need to fear. Right? So let's just read the purport a bit, in which Srila Prabhupada says that Vasudeva, Lord Krishna, the absolute personality of Godhead, is the supreme controller of everything. There is no one in creation who is not afraid of the rage of the Almighty. Please remember, He is the topmost. There is no one in creation who is not afraid. So Prabhupada gives the example of Ravan, Hiranyakashipu, Kamsa. All of them were so demonic. They were so feared by everyone. But who killed them? Krishna, right? So and now the Lord Vasudev, Prabhupada says, has empowered his names with the powers of his personal self. All the powers he had as Krishna killing Kamsa, or Narsinghadev killing Hiranyakashipu, Varahadev killing Hiranyaksha, or Lord Ram killing Ravan, all those powers he has put into the holy names. They are all his powers. And therefore, Krishna is feared even by fear personified. So this indicates the name of Krishna is non-different to Krishna. So this non-difference is something we must perceive when we are chanting. So when we are chanting, we should forget who we are. We should forget, I am Anuradha, I am Veena, I am Supriya. What should we do? We are nothing but the servant of the Lord and Radha and Krishna personally. So they appear in front of you to because you call them Hare and Krishna, Hare and Rama, you're inviting them. So there are different forms of deities, right? So the deities are made of, anyone knows how many different forms, their materials deities can be made from? I'm sure you have an idea.
Mud and wood. And
wood, correct.
Mud.
Metal.
Stone.
Stone.
Marble.
Marble is stone. Yeah.
Mitti. Chandan.
Mud. Yeah. Mud. Chandan is mud. And one more.
Floor. Floor.
Paint.
Paint, yeah, paint is.
Painting, yeah?
Yeah, painting is.
But there is one more you're missing out. Sound. Sound. Deities appear in sound. When you chant. So you cannot see sound. Can you see sound? Can you feel sound? Yes, vibrations. Yeah. So you can only hear sound and you can feel sound. Yeah, but you can't touch sound. You cannot see sound. You can't. But when you call them, when you chant, they appear in sound form and they appear as deities. So the same approach or the same worship we have to our deities at home, do we have that when we chant? Honestly, we don't. I'm saying for myself, I don't. But slowly when we understand that, yes, they are deity in the form of sound, tomorrow I'm sure your chanting will be better. Why? Because today you had the learning, the realization that the Lords are appearing in sound form. You may not see them, you may not touch them, you may feel them through their vibrations. You cannot, you can only hear and you can only feel their vibrations. Yeah. Why? Because the Lord has put his entire potency in his names. So when tomorrow you chant, you must understand that you have invited the Lord. When you invite the Lord for bhoga, when you invite the Lord for abhishek, when you go to the temple and take darshan, you can't take your eyes off them. You know the Lord is there. But do we have that same perception when we chant? Honestly, no. I don't. I'm sure you all maybe, but I don't. So when we understand that the potency is there in the holy names, then you know that the Lord has appeared in deity form in the form of sound. And therefore, understand that the entire potency of the Lord is completely, Krishna has descended as himself, along with his internal energy, Srimati Radharani, when you call in the holy names. How do we know whether this is a fact or not? Is there any proof?
Acharya said this.
Yes, perfect answer, Meena. Perfect answer. Why we must believe in Acharya? Because he has seen the truth. Because he has realized it. Yeah. So therefore, we have to work ourselves towards that goal. And Krishna says that in the purport. Yeah. Therefore, the name of Krishna is as powerful as Krishna himself. So, even though uttered unconsciously or by force of circumstance or even to tease someone, can get you freedom from this cycle of birth and death. And the biggest example is Ajamal. Yeah. We'll do 1.15. Yatpada samshraya suta
Yatpad sancharya suta
munaya prashamayanaha
munayah prashmanayah
sadya punantyupaprishtaha
sadya punante upsprishtaha
svardhunyaponu
Swaradhunyopa anusevaya.
Okay, translation.
O Sutta, those great sages who have completely taken shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord can at once sanctify those who come in touch with them, whereas the waters of the Ganges can sanctify only after prolonged use.
Yes. Sorry. Look at that. Look at those who have completely taken shelter of the lotus feet. So, what is the verse here? It's glorifying the devotee. Like I said previously, the last verse glorified the holy name. And here we are glorifying the devotee. So that devotee who has taken shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord can at once sanctify those who come in touch with him. And what is the comparison given here? It's given to the waters of Ganga. So what happens? So people think that if you have a dip in Ganga, sare paap dhul jayenge. Right? Isn't that what we all know? And there are so many movies made out of it. Yes, eventually you are accumulating piety. You take a dip. It is a pious activity. Yeah. It is not that sare paap dhul gaye and that's it, finished. No more karma. No. You accumulate piety. Eventually, because of repeated dips in the Ganga, you might come across a devotee and then get Sukriti. You know, that's how it works. I mean, if you all have done Nectar of Devotion in Bhakti Shastri, you all will, or have studied Nectar of Devotion, you will come to this stage over there where a lot of pious deeds then lead you to Sukriti, and only Sukriti can bring you to Bhakti. Piety or Punya karam cannot only bring you to Bhakti. You need Sukriti, and you get that only from a devotee, and you know, in different ways, like by chance you had prasadam, or you get extra Sukriti if you wanted a prasadam, you wanted to eat prasadam. Like Srila Prabhupada said that prasadam is your secret weapon. That's why he used to distribute. We now also distribute prasadam. Why is ISKCON so crazy about distributing prasadam? Because we are giving Sukriti to others so that they get a chance in their future to come to Bhakti. Whereas taking even multiple dips, you can go and do Ganga, but it will give you only piety, and you have to do multiple times. You must have that. But just a chance meeting with a devotee is enough to purify. So if you go to Dham, if you go to any of these pilgrimages, or you go to any of these holy places. So the only thing is not that you take a dip in the Ganga and or you just take darshan and come back. It is successful if you can meet a holy person and purify yourself by his association. Then you get closer to the Lord. You get closer to Lord through that holy person's instructions. So when you meet a holy person and he blesses you, yes, correct, you are getting blessings. But the only way to purify yourself is to ask him for instructions or some teachings, and then you follow that. Then you get purified. Yeah, so when you go to the dham, it is not just that you're going to a holy place, so therefore you're going to get purified. It is important to meet a holy person and to take instructions from that holy person. Then you can get the closer to the Lord. Yeah. Why? Because pure devotees of the Lord are more powerful than even the river Ganga. Now we all know the glories of Ganga, right? Do we? Yes. So Mother Ganga came from where? We all know, or you want me to? Okay, let's try. Mother Ganga, I'm sure you know. You all have heard so much.
From the
Yeah, Shiva's.
Lord Vishnu.
Shiva.
She was caught in Shiva's this, but she
And
came from
I
One
heaven.
by
think
one.
say
One by one. Yeah, one by one.
Lord Vishnu's big toe.
Big toe.
Sorry, I didn't hear you because there were so many people talking. Can you say that again?
From Vishnu's foot, big toe, that it originally came from, and then from there it flew down.
From Vishnu's big toe. Okay, that's the source.
Yes.
Okay.
जब
And
वामन जी देव जी का अवतार हुआ था तो उन्होंने 3 पग लिए थे, तो तब जो थर्ड स्टेप लिया था, सेकंड स्टेप लिया था, तो वो सेकंड स्टेप में विष्णु जी के शायद पैर से गंगा, अंगूठे से गंगा आई.
तो वामन देव या विष्णु?
वामन देव.
So yeah, so the thing is that when Vaman, in Lord Vaman's avatar, when Meena Mataji is right, jab second step liya tha, so he cut through the 7 layers of the material universe, right? He went above the heavenly planets and he went and he made a crack in the outer covering of the universe. And the Viraja river flowed in and bathed Vaman Dev's feet, and then went and to the heavenly planets. But the force of, and it was just a trickle, zara sa bunda bandi. It's not like the full river came flowing down, otherwise we would have been wiped out. Just few trickle came into the material world, but that itself was so much that the force was going straight down and destroying all the planets and even gone to Patalok. So then all the Devatas went to Lord Shiva and requested him, and he said, okay, fine. And he just tied her on his head. Yeah. So that Viraja river, when she came into the heavenly planets, she is called Mandakini. And then when King Bhagirath wanted Ganga to flow because he wanted the curse lifted from his ancestors, so he requested Mother Ganga to flow down from the heavenly planets. That was the time Lord Shiva tied her on his jata, and then she flowed down as a trickle as Ganga. That's why she's also called Bhagirathi. So Viraja river, Mandakini, then Bhagirathi or Ganga, so many names she has. So the glory is, what is the glory? She is Viraja river. She's out of the material world. She's an expansion of Srimati Radharani. And she washes the Lord's feet before she comes. She comes, why? She comes to deliver us. But even more than that is an association of a pure devotee. Just a mere association of a pure devotee is enough to purify you. More than Ganga, who is herself so glorious, who is so amazing. So understand the importance. What is the importance here? The importance of a pure devotee and his association. So the mercy of a pure devotee of the Lord is very, very important. And what is the best part? A pure devotee, what does he do? He gives mercy freely. You don't even have to go and ask. Just gives you freely. That makes the devotee even more pleasurable and even more dear to Krishna. So the pure devotees, what is his business? So Srila Prabhupada says in the purport, pure devotees' only business is serving the Lord. That's why the names are Prabhupada, Vishnupad, because all these devotees are representatives of Krishna. Right? And in the end, he says, the sincere disciple of a pure devotee considers the spiritual master equal to the Lord, but always consider himself to be the humble servant of the Lord. That is pure devotional service. No guru will say, oh, I am the Lord. I am Krishna. No. He says, I am the servant of Krishna. So many times, so whenever Srila Prabhupada gave interviews in the West, so they would ask him, Srila Prabhupada, you are taking, all your disciples are worshipping you. So are you Krishna? He said, no, I'm the servant of the servant of the servant of Krishna. Right? Why do we worship? Because he's a via medium. A guru is a via medium. We worship him and the guru does not take the worship. What does the guru do? The guru passes the worship to his guru. And that way, ultimately, it is Krishna we are worshipping. Yajnartat karmano anyatra lokoyam karma bandhana. Every yajna, every sacrifice, every worship is for the Lord, not for anyone else. Yeah. So then we move on to the next verse.
Mataji,
yeah.
Sorry to disturb you. Mataji, I have one question here.
Yeah.
Here we are glorifying the devotee association with the Mother Ganga. So
yes.
Do we understand it like that the Mother Ganga is also a pure devotee of Lord?
Yes. Yes, but she doesn't give bhakti. She is not Bhakti Devi and she is not Tulsi Devi. So we have to understand that all demigods are also devotees of the Lord. But none of them is empowered to give you bhakti. Everyone has come for a different function. There are people who are empowered, right? They're called Shaktiavesh avatars. Like Yamraj is a Mahajan. His teachings will give you bhakti because he's a Mahajan. But Lord Indra is not. Right? So Lord Vayudev is not. The same way Yamuna is empowered because she is an eternal associate of Krishna. She can give you bhakti. But Ganga, Saraswati, Kaveri, they are not empowered to give you bhakti. They are empowered to do different functions in the material world. They are there for different ways of reducing the pains, the sins of the people, to purify them in different ways. But bhakti is something which only few are empowered to give. And therefore the devotee, a pure devotee, is higher than Mother Ganga. And that's why the Bhagavatam does not put Yamuna here. If they had put Yamuna, then this argument will not, would have failed because Yamuna gives bhakti. So you must understand that piety is temporary. Piety only gives you good karma. But bhakti is here, takes you out. Bhakti yoga takes you out of the material world. So therefore, anything which gives you bhakti is superior. Yes, does that answer the question?
Yes, Mataji. Very much. Thank you so much.
Okay, so we go to the next verse. So these verses are giving you a gist of what's coming up, yeah, in Bhagavatam. So 1.16. Ko va bhagavatastasya
Ko va bhagavatastasya
punyashlokedya karmanaha
punyashlokedya karmanaha
shuddhi kamo na shrunuyat
shuddhi kamo na shrunuyat
yasha kali malapaham.
yashah kali malapaham.
May I take the translation?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Who is there desiring deliverance from the vices of the age of quarrel? Who is not willing to hear the virtuous glories of the Lord?
Yes. So the sages here are asking, why wouldn't anyone do it? Why is it that people would not do it? Because anyone desiring deliverance, anyone. So what is the, sorry, I'm just going back to the verse. Yeah. Shuddhi Kama, anyone who is desiring deliverance from all sins, Shuddhi Kama, will naturally do anything, right? So why, who will not be willing to hear the virtuous glories of the Lord? Yeah. If he is Shuddhi Kamo, if he is desiring purification, then he has to hear. Yeah. So, for example, now Vrindavan had so many calamities, right? There were so many calamities. It was all the time attacked by demons. So many times attacked by demons. There was a child, infant eating demon. I mean, any newborn, the demon, Putana would just swallow that child. Then there was, Trinavarta. I mean, then there was demons coming to eat up the children. There was demons coming to entirely annihilate that land. What was not done? Vrindavan was such a place where there was calamities one after the other, one after the other. But still, what did the people there do? So in the 10th canto, 11th chapter, 58th verse, there is a, let me see if I have it open. No. Okay. It says, Iti Nandadayo Gopa Krishna Rama Katham Muda Kurvanto Rama Manascha Na Vindan Bhava Vedanam, which means that even though there were so many calamities, the Vrindavan Vasis, what would they do? They enjoyed the topics and pastimes of Krishna and Balaram. Krishna Rama Katham Muda. They were only listening to the pastimes of Krishna and Balaram. And what was this? What was the result of this? Na vidan bhava vedanam. They would not even perceive these material tribulations. So Srila Prabhupada says that we must take inspiration from the Brajavasis. Because whatever calamity came, what would they do? They were just listening to the pastimes of Krishna and Balaram. They did not perceive it as tribulations. They just went on. So for us also, when we hear the stories of Bhagavatam, we forget our material tribulations. We forget whatever we are going through, because that is why Bhagavatam gives you anand, gives you bliss. It doesn't, it's not just a storybook. If you read any mundane storybook, you can pass your time. You can, read yourself to sleep. You can, while away a journey. But it doesn't give you anand. It doesn't give you bliss. Because then Bhagavatam is something when you read, you look forward to the next. And even if you read it again, you come back. So just like that, the sages over here, what are they saying? They're saying that why would someone not read Bhagavatam, right? If you want that your, all your sins, all those sins are eradicated, then you will. So Srila Prabhupada in the purport also says that because Kali Yuga has so much quarrelsome features and such vicious habits, and there's so many misunderstandings, that the only way to get past is that you're engaged in pure devotional service of the Lord. So if you see, even if you take countries, if you take nationalism, or patriotism, there's so much anxiety all the time. You just open any news channel, whether it is India, whether it is any country in the world, there is so much anxiety. Is there any country where people are living in peace? No, they're not. Why? Because, and if someone is living in peace, then there is someone else causing anxiety from outside within that country. So the leaders are foolish, they say. And Srila Prabhupada says in the purport that foolish leaders want completely to deny the existence of the Lord. So there is no way of peace and friendship. And we know from Bhagavad Gita, what is the peace formula? I'm sure you all know the peace formula. What is the peace formula? Yes.
Chanting Mahamantra.
Chanting.
Yes, that's true. But what is the verse? Peace formula verse.
You mentioned it last time. No?
Nyatva mam shantim richati. Which is that verse?
5.24.
Yeah, no, 2.9.
2.9.
Bhoktaram. Yes, Anu, come on. You know.
Tapasam sarvaloka maheshwaram suhridam sarvabhutanam yatma mam shantim ruchati.
So what is the translation? If you understand the translation, you will know why it is the peace formula. Bhoktaram yajna tapasam. What does that mean?
Because in this Krishna is saying, I am the receiver of all the sacrifices.
Yes, I am the Bhoktaram. I am the Bhoga. I am the enjoyer. I am the receiver of all sacrifices. Then,
God of all planets.
Bhoktaram yajna tapasam sarva loka maheshwaram.
I am the Lord of all the planets everywhere. I am everywhere.
Sarva loka maheshwaram. Suhridam sarva bhutanam. I am the
Well-wisher.
Yes.
All living beings.
Well-wisher of all living beings. If you understand, if everyone understands this in the world, then there will be Shantim Richati.
Peace everywhere.
So this is the 3-point peace formula from Bhagavad Gita. Someone asks you, what is the 3-point peace formula in the Bhagavad Gita? Has Krishna or does Bhagavad Gita have a peace formula? Immediately you should say Bhoktaram Yajnatavasam Sarva Loka Maheshwaram Suhridam Sarva Bhutanam Nyatva Mam. If you know this, if we know these 3 points, Nyatva Mam, then there is Shanti. Otherwise, there is Ashanti. So if we all know this, right? So we have peace in our mind. We don't care, no? Do we care what's happening politically? We shouldn't. Because Srila Prabhupada says, 4 regulative principles, 16 rounds chanting, and no idle talk. What is idle talk? Politics. And no frivolous sports. What is frivolous sports? IPL. So no politics and no IPL. Half of India who listen to politics gone. They will refuse Srila Prabhupada. They will reject Srila Prabhupada. And the other half who are after IPL gone. Who's left? Just us. But yeah, why? Because idle talk and frivolous sports take you away from Krishna. Okay, so we will stop here. Any questions? And we'll take some questions and comments. And we'll continue next week. Next week, we will do the rest of the chapter.
Hare Krishna, Supriya Mataji. I have a meeting at 5:30. Can I drop out?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Mr. Mataji. Bye. Hare Krishna.
Just now you said politics and IPL. Most of the ladies don't have interest. Women don't have interest in those.
That's why women are fast progressing.
Yeah.
In the earlier days, men were completely responsible for spiritual progress. And that's why they used to, sure, Sheetal, Hare Krishna. So they used to be responsible for the spiritual progress. And why? Because in earlier days, there were no such things. Yeah. But now men are so engrossed in politics and sports that women have taken over the spiritual progress. So we know why. Any other questions? Any comments?
Hare Krishna Mataji, I had a question, but tied into the previous class.
Okay.
It's just an observation and maybe your comment, and maybe not entirely related to what we're discussing, but I think so. So the thing is, you mentioned that, by the time we are 40, the next body is actually prepared and all that. One observation, based on experience, based on what I've seen, is pretty much right. Bhakti seems to develop more when we are 40. Why is it? I'm not saying it is there, of course, but by and large, if you see the general population, right, even among my friends or family members, I see that the moment they hit 40, or even personally, although being born in a very religious family, got out of all that, but by the time I hit 40, kind of started getting my feet again in this area. Why is it? Is there is there a reason? Why is it, even though you're born in some religious family, it takes kind of 40 years to hit this stage?
So bhakti actually doesn't come by chance. Like I said, you have to have sukriti. So from your past life, you all have it, and that's why you all have taken to it. But like any seed, it only fructifies at a particular time. So it's just the timing. It's just that that's the timing we were meant to have for it to fructify. And it's also that probably you are joining that kind of classes where similar age group people are there. And if you see that, yes, I've also noticed that many of the people, even I have joined when I was 39 when I joined. And before that, even though I had the chance to go full time into ISKCON, I did not. So therefore, the fruit or let's say the seed of bhakti, which was in me, fructified only at a particular time. So this again is the mercy of the Lord, and this again is something which you can't. None of us can pinpoint unless you're an astrologer. So what happens is that another thing we must keep in mind that even ISKCON, has come into full bloom at this point. If you see 10 years ago and if you see now, ISKCON is just blooming wonderfully now. It was still in its a little bud state 10 years back. And before that, it was people hardly even knew of it, right? So we have come into this movement at this time because this is the time ISKCON needs us. And this is the time Krishna wants us to be in this for us to contribute. It is not something where probably it is our fault. Why? Because yes, a lot of people have a question that I wish I had it earlier, which is a very good thought, because we know what we have missed the 40 years of our life. But we must also understand that Krishna wants us in his plan at a particular time. So if Lord Lakshman, if Lakshman was born after Ram in the Ram avatar, before Krishna in the Krishna avatar, and before him in the Chaitanya avatar, it's because that's the role he wanted him to play in each part. So we have come into this movement at this point of ISKCON because of the contribution we can make to them now. We must not think that the Lord has brought us only to take from ISKCON. He's brought us into this movement also to contribute. So therefore, it took us this much time because we were not ready to make that many sacrifices earlier in life. That's why we were born in a particular family where we were sheltered. Now we are coming into it because this is the right time for us. We will be sheltered with the right kind of association and guru. So therefore, he gave it to us now according to our desires. So it is all in his plan of things. If I always, if you saw, if you remember from last class also, I said that I'm so grateful that I'm into it now, because if I was, at that age where Srila Prabhupada was there, I probably would not have even met him. And even if I had, I wouldn't have been able to sacrifice as much as the other disciples have. Leave home and go away would be unthinkable for us, right? So we are in it here now because the Lord's plan was that we can do bhakti full time perfectly at this time and age when ISKCON is blooming, and we also have the confidence to give it full time. That's why.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. I hope I answered. I'm not sure, but that's my feeling. Yeah.
हरे कृष्णा माता जी, दंडवत प्रणाम।
Hare Krishna.
मुझे पूछना था, जैसे अभी लॉकडाउन तक तो था, बहुत अच्छे से सारी चीजें, रीडिंग भी, लिसनिंग भी, हेयरिंग भी, सब कुछ चल रहा था। लेकिन अभी लॉकडाउन के बाद और रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटीज ऐड हो गई, तो ट्राई तो करते हैं कि जैसे हम पहले 10% कर रहे थे, तो अब वो 50% रह गया, क्योंकि और कभी फैमिली है, कभी गेट टुगेदर है, कभी कुछ है, कभी कुछ है, तो डाइवर्जन बहुत हो गई। तो हाउ टू बी स्टडी कि हमारी ये भक्ति छूटे नहीं, और कैसे उसको पकड़ के रखें?
Yeah, very nice question, Meena Mataji. So in every stage of devotional life, whether you are a newcomer, whether you are a Madhyama Adhikari, whether you're Uttama Adhikari, the nature of bhakti is that you will have कुछ ना कुछ बाधाएं आती रहेंगी. Now, आपके ऊपर है कि आप उसमें कौन सा चॉइस लेते हो. कि जैसे कि अगर आप प्रायोरिटी चांटिंग को दोगे, तो फिर आप ऐसा टाइम निकालोगे कि आप पहले चांटिंग करोगे, फिर जाओगे गेट टुगेदर, फिर बाकी काम. सो अगर आप प्रायोरिटी नहीं करोगे, आप प्रायोरिटाइज नहीं करोगे अपनी भक्ति को, तो फिर भक्ति छूटती जाएगी. फिर देयर इज अ चांस कि एक दिन ऐसा आएगा कि आप बोलोगे चलो आज छोड़ देती हूँ, कल करती हूँ. वो कल में परसों हो जाएगी. सो प्रायोरिटाइज जरूर करना चाहिए. एवरी डे एक चेक होना चाहिए कि व्हाट इज इम्पोर्टेंट. इज कृष्णा मोर इम्पोर्टेंट और इज अ गेट टुगेदर मोर इम्पोर्टेंट. अगर आप आधा घंटा भी लेट चले जाओगे गेट टुगेदर में, कोई मिस नहीं करेगा आपको. बट आप ये सोचो कि आप अगर 2 और जन्म लोगे तो कृष्णा आपके लिए वेट कर रहे हैं गोलोका में. तो आप 2 जन्म और लेट आएंगे. आप जब जाओगे तो कृष्णा बोलेंगे अरे बट मीना, मैं तो 2 जन्म पिछले 2 जन्म से वेट कर रहा हूँ, आप तो तब आने वाले थे. सो यू हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड कि प्रायोरिटी क्या है. 16 राउंड्स अगर प्रायोरिटी है, वो 2 घंटा आप सिर्फ कृष्णा को देना ही पड़ेगा आपको। प्रायोरिटाइज चॉइस है, आपके पास चॉइस है। अगर आपको पता है पहले से कि ये काम है फैमिली के लिए, सो फैमिली को निग्लेक्ट नहीं करना है, फैमिली मेंबर्स को नहीं निग्लेक्ट करना है, बट भक्ति को भी नहीं निग्लेक्ट करना है। सो द होल टाइम, जैसे 24 घंटे हैं, वी हैव टू डिवाइड इट इनटू 3, 8, 8 और 8। 8 घंटे जो हैं वो हमारे जो फिजिकल कामों के लिए है वो होना चाहिए, जैसे कि नहाना या सोना, खाना, वो सब चीजें, ठीक है। और 8 घंटे जो होना चाहिए वो सिर्फ होना चाहिए फैमिली के लिए, कि जैसे उनके लिए नाश्ता तैयार किया, उनके साथ बैठ के खा रहे हो, बाहर जा रहे हो, ग्रोसरी ले रहे हो, ये ले रहे हो, वो ले रहे हो। पर जो बाकी 8 घंटा है उसमें आपको इतना करना है कि आपका 2 घंटे शांटिंग हो और बाकी 6 घंटे पढ़ाई हो। अब ये नॉर्मल होता है डिवोटी के लाइफ में, दैट इज व्हाट आचार्य हैव सेड कि इतना ऐसे वो होना चाहिए 8, 8 and 8। मगर अगर वो भक्ति के 8 में अगर आप इवन इफ यू से कि मैं सिर्फ 2 घंटे ही दे सकती हूँ, फिर भी वो 2 घंटे काफी हैं आपके 16 राउंड्स के लिए। बट 8 घंटे में अगर आप 8 घंटा फैमिली के लिए दे रहे हो प्लस 6 और दे रहे हो, तो बहुत ज्यादा हो गया, है ना। सो अगर आपको पहले से पता है कि क्या क्या काम है, तो उस हिसाब से आप अपने मेंटली आप एक अगर टाइम टेबल बना लोगे कि मैं कुछ भी हो जाए बाबा, मैं अपना ये करके ही जाऊंगी, चांटिंग मेरा नहीं छूटेगा, दैट्स इट। और अगर आप फैमिली मेंबर्स को भी बोल देंगे कि हाँ मैं आऊंगी, आई विल कम फॉर गेट टुगेदर, आई विल कम, जो भी है आपका जो भी काम है जो भी है, बट मेरा चांटिंग के वक्त मुझे कोई डिस्टर्ब नहीं करेगा, सो देन यू आर फाइन। सो इफ यू कीप 24 आवर्स में अगर आप 4 घंटे भी करोगे तो आपका सारा हो जाएगा। सो धीरे धीरे ये जो 2 होगा, 2 से 4 होगा, 4 से 8 होगा, वैसे। बट फॉर नाउ अगर आपसे नहीं हो रहा मैनेज, तो 2 घंटे से शुरू कीजिए आप और 2 घंटे से 3 घंटे कीजिए, बट प्रायोरिटी होनी चाहिए, तभी होगा, ठीक है। और इफ यू आर स्ट्रिक्ट तो लोग भी नहीं खींचेंगे आपको, कि बोलेंगे अच्छा मीना का पहला होने दो फिर उसको ले जाएंगे, ठीक। इज दैट ओके मीना?
यस माता जी, थैंक यू।
Okay, so anything else?
Mataji, I was just reading this chapter yesterday before coming for the class till 12, and then itna acha laga, I continued reading. So just yesterday I was totally confused between Sutta Goswami and Sukha Goswami, and aaj hi aapne totally clear kar diya. Absolutely, I'm so grateful. I was wondering कि क्या हो रहा है, मतलब I knew they were different, but what a coincidence, आज आपने बिल्कुल क्लियर कर दिया।
होता है माता जी, ऐसे होता है कि हम कोई क्लास जाते हैं प्रश्न लेके और देन यू गेट द आंसर इन द क्लास एंड आपको लगता है कि अरे मेरे लिए क्लास था शायद। भागवतम डज दैट।
बहुत दिल को छू लेने वाली क्लास थी, वेरी वेरी टचिंग क्लास टुडे।
जय श्रीला प्रभुपाद की जय। श्रीला प्रभुपाद's purports are amazing, amazing purports. Anything else or shall we stop for today? Okay, so ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय।
जय।
समवेत भक्त वृंद की जय।
वाञ्छा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमः। प्रिया माता जी की जय।